Hello, class, and welcome back. Hope week one went well for you. Hope you understood the concepts. And again, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. So chapter 2 itself is kind of a continuation of chapter 1, where we're talking more about strategic HR management. And that's a term you're going to hear pretty regularly. And frankly, sometimes people have trouble describing what it is. I mean, HR is no different than marketing or finance or accounting, that we want to be strategic and we want to show how we're adding value to an organization. But, a lot of times with HR, we're kind of a behind the scenes type of organization, in that, a lot of what we do kind of happens, not out in front of the public. It happens, primarily with employees. So sometimes it's harder to physically see the effect that we have on a company. But I can assure you it is incredibly large, and it's incredibly powerful. So how do we add that strategic component to it? Well, one of the things that this chapter really focuses on in the book that I want to make sure you truly understand, and it's a term you've probably heard before, is called a SWOT analysis, SWOT. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So that's kind of going to be a focus throughout the semester on what HR, how do we become strategically focused? So what strengths do we add? A lot of companies do things very well from an HR standpoint. They offer very competitive wages, for example. They can offer better health insurance than their competitors. So those are massive strengths that really keep people want to come to your organization and stay in your organization. That's a very powerful thing. What are some weaknesses, for example? So, maybe you're on the opposite spectrum. Maybe, just because it's a small organization, maybe you can't pay as much money as a larger organization. Or maybe your marketing budget isn't as big. Or maybe, there's not as many promotional opportunities. So how do you overcome those from an HR standpoint? So if you can't pay a lot of money, on a salary, maybe you can make up for that in offering better training opportunities, better opportunities to gain skills and advantages, and being able to work with different types of people, for example. So overcoming those weaknesses is a massive thing that you have to consider. What opportunities are we trying to discover from an HR standpoint? And you heard me talk last chapter about how much technology has really changed. Well, one of the biggest opportunities that companies have is how can we leverage more technology to help us become more creative from an HR standpoint? So, with being able to enroll in benefits online, be able to, recruit and reach out to different people through social media, that's a major opportunity that HR departments take advantage of, because a lot of times you can do it for not very much money, and a lot of times you can do it for free. So in my role, a lot of times, if I have a position that I'm trying to recruit for that I really want to make sure I get the word out, I'll post it either on my personal Facebook page or my personal LinkedIn account. Again, that's free. It doesn't cost me anything, and I know I can reach a large audience. So that's a great opportunity. And of course, we always have to consider what threats are out there in the environment. A lot of times the biggest threats is obviously if a new company comes in, or a new employer that comes in that offers more money, better wages, better health insurance, etc. That's a major threat, because how do we respond to that? How do we counteract that difference? So it's something that we really have to consider. Again, this chapter does a really good job of kind of taking the small functional areas that we're going to talk about in much broader perspective throughout the semester, and talk about the strategic aspects of both of them. So make sure you really focus on that. As far as this week, the assignment is there's a strategic management paper that you'll be working on. The details will be posted online. It's not intended to be very long, but it's going to take the concepts from this chapter and have you kind of take a look at a hypothetical scenario and really apply those concepts from a strategic HR management standpoint. Thank you so much, class. Hope you enjoyed chapter 2 and look forward to chapter 3.